Because trying to describe or indeed put a label on one Hugh Hefner is not easy. So I'm leaving it to Leah. That is the biggest handball I've ever given you. I never thought we'd be discussing this on
I know.
on the news grid, but here we go.
Here we go. Let me give it a try. Well, who he is all depends on who you ask. Hugh Hefner will definitely be remembered in different ways. For one, he founded Playboy magazine and created an empire that made nudity less of a taboo, especially in the 60s. Vonnie Leclerc is a journalist and said that Hugh Hefner was not a feminist. She says, I repeat, Hugh Hefner was not a feminist. Objectification is not women's sexual liberation. Nicola Keeney here, she says Hugh Hefner dies, and with him goes a generation of misogyny and sexual exploitation. She uses the hashtag good riddance, old man. However, you have another perspective. This person here says that people can try and slander him if they want, but Hugh Hefner paved the way for sex positivity and was an LGBT ally before it was safe to be one. Then you have Lucas saying similar things, saying that Hugh Hefner apparently advocated for gay rights as early as the 1950s. He says that it was beyond brave to do so, and then says cheers. Playboy also featured the first black female cover star. That was in 1971, and it was 3 years before American Vogue had their first black female cover star. And at its height in 1970s, Playboy had a monthly circulation of more than 7 million magazines a month and ran a global chain of nightclubs, casinos, and resorts. But over the years, the magazine has taken quite a bit of a hit. It only sold 800,000 copies a month in 2015. That also impacted the Playboy brand, well known as the Playboy Bunny. More than half of its annual revenue now comes from its merchandise. But what was once a powerful worldwide brand has diminished over the decades because of the availability of free pornography, especially online. Even still, the company is still worth an estimated $500 million. Regardless of what you think of him, the magazine has come quite a long way since its first edition. Marilyn Monroe was on the first cover in 1953 when the magazine only cost 50 cents. Many of Hefner's Playboy bunnies, as they were called, have taken to Twitter to say their goodbyes to him. Hefner was 91 and will be buried in his iconic silk pajamas in a grave that he bought right next to the first cover model, Marilyn Monroe.